So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to De Montfort University's Digital Open Day, and welcome to the Accommodation live stream. So, my name's Dal. I'm going to be both your Ant and Deck for the next hour or so. So, I'll be your host, taking you through this Accommodation live stream. You'll be glad to know that you won't be just listening to my Brummie accent for the next hour or so. As you can see on my screen, I have a star-studded cast, so I've got people from our wonderful admissions team joining us, and I've also got current students who are currently staying or have stayed in our accommodation here at De Montfort University. Now, I can see there's a lot of you join this live stream, so it'd be wonderful if you could all get involved. Please do drop us a comment. So if you click on the bottom, you'll see the YouTube icon. If you're watching on our website, have a click onto that, drop us a comment, give us a shout out, and I'll be reading out some of those comments as we go through today's live stream. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to introduce those that are with me on this live stream. So first up, Sarah, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yep.
How are you feeling today?
A little tired, but raring to go nonetheless.
You've made it here. That's the most important
Yes.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you just want to introduce yourself to the viewers, just to let everyone know who you are?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Sarah Stevens. I'm the Accommodation Support Officer, and I work with the Accommodation Office, sort of doing the bookings and that sort of thing. But I also work in the halls themselves. That'll be Bede and New Wharf. I work on site there as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. We've also got Sarah's colleague, I believe, Nisha.
Hi, Dal.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Feeling very energized this morning.
I've had my coffee this morning, that's why. So
See, you one up on me, so I haven't had my coffee as of yet. So this is just pure enthusiasm for being a part of this open day. That's why I'm so enthusiastic this morning.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Do you just want to explain to our viewers who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name's Nisha. I work for the DMU Accommodation team. We're based on campus, and we cover a wide range of halls. So any issues, you're welcome to raise them with us. We also help with all the booking side of things, the online booking system. So anything and everything, really, we're here to support you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So guys, you heard it first. So if you have any issues, any queries, I want to be seen at Nisha. I want to be seen at Sarah in the comments. Let's really try and put these guys on their toes this morning and get those questions out to them. You can see by the looks on their faces, they're very enthusiastic about that. They're definitely thinking, oh, cheers, Dal, for doing that.
Take it easy on us, please, guys. Be kind.
Excellent. So we also have a current array of students that are joining us. So we've got Angela. So good morning, Angela.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Really, really good.
And
how are you?
I'm not too bad. Thank you for asking. I feel like I think you're one of the first that's asked me how I'm doing. So thank you for doing that. Sarah, Nisha, you didn't bother asking how I was. So Angela, do you just want to tell the students that are currently watching, prospective students, who you are, what you're here to offer on this live stream?
I'm a third-year international relations student, and I lived in university halls the first year of university. I had a really, really good experience. I received a lot of support. So I thought it would be a good idea to be here answering some questions from first hand about the whole year.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We've also got Dana. Good morning, Dana.
Good morning to you, Swodal. And hi, guys. Welcome to our live stream.
Excellent. And last but not least, we've got Megan, who has a very peculiar background. So, Megan.
Morning. I'm a sales and service advisor for Unite students. We're here to help you when you check in and answer any questions when you're here or any problems. You come see us.
Excellent. So, Megan, why are you standing by a door?
Oh, I'm at a flat to show you around.
So coming up later on in the live stream, Megan will be taking you around some of the accommodation that we have. That is why Megan stood there. We haven't got her standing there for any other reason other than to be a bit helpful on this live stream. So let's get started. So what we're going to cover first of all is the accommodation overview. So relocating from a different part of the country, coming towards Leicester could be daunting for some, especially if you have to try and find some accommodation or try and find somewhere to live. So this question's really aimed towards Nisha and Sarah. So how does your team support students, and what are some of the benefits of using the accommodation team? So Nisha, Sarah, do any of you want to start us off?
Yep, I'll start off. Thanks, Dal. So we provide a dedicated service for our new students. We have a friendly and supportive team to take you through the whole experience from start to finish. And we're here to answer any questions you might have and just guide you through all the different stages. We can go through all the options with you and support you through the booking process. We'll also provide you with pre-arrival information and be here to welcome you when you move in. And we'll also be on hand to help you throughout your time in halls during your first year with us. Moving on to some of the benefits of using the DMU accommodation service. Living in halls, it's a great way to make new friends and settle into your student life. And we have a variety of different halls to choose from. They have different contract lengths and prices to suit your needs. And by booking through us, you will place with other first year DMU students. And bookings are made through our online system, and you'll be able to choose your own room.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Nisha. So I imagine that there are a lot of different choices for students to choose from when making the decision on where they actually stay when they do their university degree. So could you provide us more of an overview of the options that a student has to when picking the hall? So again, I'm going to pass this out to either Sarah or Nisha.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to be the one to take this one. So yeah, there are 13 different halls altogether. All of them are within walking distance of the campus, and the furthest ones away are about 15 minutes away, and the closest is less than a minute. So that gives you an idea of where they're all kind of spread out. All of them are close to like bars and restaurants and shops because they're all based, in that city centres and campus area. They do vary between them and to what they're like, the atmosphere, the amount of people that are in flats and that kind of thing. So what I would sort of suggest, or what we would suggest, is that you write down a list of things that are important to you in your accommodation. So things like location, whether it's en suite, the size of the hall, that kind of thing. And then take that list, pop on over to the accommodation web pages and kind of take a look there and kind of see how it compares with what we've got available.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. So guys, if you are watching, please do drop us a comment if you have any questions about accommodation. We'll be more than happy to take those questions for you and hopefully provide you with an answer. So just gonna quickly bring in here Dana and Angela. So guys, do you guys remember some of the thoughts and the processes that you guys went to when you was choosing your accommodation?
Yeah, I actually chose my accommodation quite late. It was like the
Yeah.
end of August. So I went on the new website, and it was really helpful because it was like a map of all the in my hole. You can choose a hole, and then it shows you like a map of your hole, and then you can choose where you want to be. And there was places available enough, so I had a range of opportunities to choose. I was like, I prefer to live with less people, but I still want to have flatmates, and I want to share a toilet. So there were different. It was really, really helpful. Yeah, you sort of just decide, go for what is better for you.
Absolutely. Dana, what about yourself?
Yeah, picking accommodation was really easy because on the new website it's laid out really in a really good way. So you can pick accommodation that can suit your own like your own preferences. So for me, I wanted to be near campus but not too near. So my accommodation was like a 5-10 minute walk from campus, and I stayed at St. Martin's for my first year at university. And same with Angela, I wanted a small flat. So my flat was 5 people. But if you want more people in your flat, you can definitely go for that. Like, for example, my friend went to Applegate and their flat can go up to 20 people. And I also wanted ensuite. That was a must for me before I went to uni. So I got ensuite. And yeah, the facilities were really good as well. There's an on-site laundry room, and the staff at my accommodation was really nice. So everything was really easy when moving in.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Dana and Angela. So I can now see the questions are starting to roll in. So I'm just going to cover some of these questions before we get overwhelmed. So Charlotte's first. So Charlotte's asking, is there a deposit for accommodation? If there is, when would it need to be paid? And is it refundable? That I'm feeling this might be orientated towards either Nisha or Sarah.
I'll cover this one if that's okay, Dal. So
Of course it is.
£200 booking payment due upon within 24 hours of booking. And that will either be advance rent or a damage deposit, and that depends on which hall you book. So specific halls will charge a damage deposit, specific halls will charge advance rent. If it's a damage deposit, providing there's no damage at the end of the year, once you've moved out, you'll get that back. If it's advance rent, then it will go towards your final instalment.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Nisha. Sarah, is there anything else you want to add, or has Nisha covered it?
No, she's covered the whole thing. Yeah.
Excellent. So Nisha, you get Sarah's seal of approval on that question. So well done. So next up we have Paul. So Paul's asking, me and my girlfriend are possibly coming together next year. Would it be a possibility if we had accommodation together?
I'm all right to take this one, Nisha, if that's okay. So we only have like single occupancy rooms, so that's the first part of that. In terms of staying in the same like flats or same halls and stuff, as long as we've got rooms available, that should be possible, because you choose your own room when you go online to book. So you can see either the layout or the room numbers, so you can decide like if you wanted sort of rooms next to each other, again, as long as the availability is there.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. Nisha, seal of approval?
I think so, yes. I think she's covered everything.
I think you two are far too kind to each other. So Nathan's asking, whereabouts is the accommodation in comparison to the campus? So Dana, Megan, Angela, seeing as though you all have or living currently in accommodation, how close is it?
Really close.
I'm currently I'm currently at Liberty Park, and that's about a 15-minute walk
Okay,
away.
Dana, what about you?
Yeah, like what I said, like in the forest here, I stayed at St. Martin's House, and that was a 5-10 minute walk. But there's some accommodation, for example, Newark Point, which is literally on campus. So once you go out, you'll be at the DMU campus.
Yeah, I was in Liberty Court, and from my classroom, I could see my accommodation. So it was just, you had to cross the road. So everything is really close. All the accommodations for the DMU are really close. Each option will be good. You won't be disappointed with the distance.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. One more for now, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the live stream. So Jemima's asking, so apologies if I've said your name incorrectly. Are there any accommodations that are considered more social than others in terms of like common rooms and shared spaces? What would you guys say to that?
I will say yes. If you read the reviews, because I wanted a social place, I was reading all the reviews, and you can tell. I think all of them are social, but there's some specific ones like Beat Hall, for example, or Filbert Village that are like popular to be really social places among the people. Like people talk about it like, wow, they're really popular. You meet a lot of people. Everyone's together all the time. But I guess it changes from year to year as well, because the students keep changing, but that's the reputation they have.
Yeah. Anything else that anyone wants to add on that?
I feel like the bigger halls tend to throw more parties from my experience. So example, Filbert Village, that's a massive accommodation building. So compared to my accommodation, which was quite small compared to Filbert Village, but despite the size, there will be parties going on regardless of the size building.
You'll make friends outside and you'll go to different accommodation. And
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, guys. So, Jemima, I hope that's answered your question for you. So, back on with the stream before we get distracted completely. So, safety is of paramount here to us at De Montfort University, and we always want to ensure that our students feel safe when they are in our accommodation. So, could Sarah and Nisha, I feel like this is aimed towards you guys again. Could you guys just touch upon some of the ways that some of the processes that we've put in place to make our students feel safe whilst they are staying with us?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take this one. So we have hall staff on site during the day, and at night times we have either on site or roaming security as well. They have CCTV cameras that the security can view, and as well we have the secure kind of door systems, so you're only going to be able to get into your block and your room and everything if you have that correct fob and stuff, which is should kind of put your mind at ease that people aren't going to be kind of just wandering around the halls and everything.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. And again, just staying with Sarah and Nisha here. So, if a student required more support with their accommodation or needed accommodation with certain access, who would they speak to? How would they get in touch? What is the kind of process that we have in place?
Okay, so for like if you need sort of adaptations because of you've got specific accessibility needs, what you're going to need to do is contact disability advice and support. So they've got an email address which is disability@dmu.ac.uk. You can speak to them about the kind of things that you're going to be needing from your accommodation. They'll then make a referral to us and we can kind of see what's available and what's going to be suitable. If on the other hand you've got a condition which means like adaptations are not necessary, then you can actually self-select. Because of the way that the booking system works, you can see what the halls have available. Like if you need a room that is en suite, you know, you can choose that. If you need a room on a lower floor, you can choose that. And we can always provide extra guidance if needed. For fridges that are required for medical purposes, you will have the option to request one when booking, and subject to the receipt of sufficient medical evidence, we can then provide you with that fridge.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. I'm glad you sort of brought that up because one of the questions that we had in the comments was from Megan. So Megan was asking or telling us that she will have a hearing dog. Will there be any available access for me and my hearing dog? So you sort of alluded to it. And can you just repeat what the process was? They have to get in touch with via email. Is that right?
Yeah, so disability advice and support, and it's disability@dmu.ac.uk. And then we sort of liaise with each other to work out what's going to be possible or not.
Excellent. And I believe that that email address, Megan, has been posted in the chat for you to refer to at a later date. So thank you so much for that, Sarah. Thank you for the question, Megan. So Amy, I believe further down as well, we've mentioned this in the comments, but I'm just going to briefly bring it up. So Amy's classed as an estranged student. Do you know if this will affect how I apply for accommodation? Do you have any advice? So again, this is probably Sarah/Nisha.
I think I would recommend that you get in touch with our transitions team at Student Gateway, and they'll be able to advise you on everything, including funding, support, and so on. With regard to how you book, it shouldn't have any impact, so you've still got the full range of options available to everyone. It's just that they will support you in terms of applications for things like student finance and things like funding and just any help you need, really.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So Emma is asking, are places in halls guaranteed for first year students?
So there's usually more than enough accommodation and so on. So in terms of actual guarantees, they'll sort of let you know nearer to the time, and they will include any applicable dates. So judging from this year, we had guarantees that if you accepted your offer by a certain date, you'd be guaranteed accommodation. But each year can be different. So I would just sort of pay attention to it at the time and make note of any applicable dates.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So Brandon, so morning all, morning Brandon. How would you go about affording accommodation? Say if you are around £135 per week, what's the best way to approach this?
Obviously, we've got things like student finance and stuff, which you probably already know about. A lot of students take on jobs while they're working, while they're studying as well. And obviously, it's worth speaking to our finance and welfare team to see if there's anything. There's various different like bursaries or scholarship type things that are going on to see if you're eligible for any of that kind of thing before you come.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Hopefully that's answered your question, Brandon. So we've got Jocelyn. So again, apologies if I've said your name incorrectly. Are extended contracts needed for healthcare students? So again, Sarah, Nisha.
So we're usually advised nearer to the time how long your courses are going to be, and we will offer contracts accordingly. So say, for example, if you're a midwifery student, say if your course is going to be for about 45 weeks and you need a contract that reflects that, so we would have contracts in place to offer you that duration.
Excellent. I'm going to bring in our students now to answer the next couple of questions. So Dana, Megan, Angela, please feel free to get involved. So Hannah's asking, is there washing machines in your flat, or is it only the ones you have to pay for? So how do we do our laundry?
We have laundry rooms on site. You normally can either download the app or you get a laundry card and you go to the laundry room and they're all there for you to use.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've never heard of a flat that had a washing machine inside. I think they all have communal, but there's always free washing machines. There's so many. You can always use them. They're open 24/7, so no
Excellent.
problem.
Thank you so much for that, both. So so Nathan's asking, are the bills such as Wi-Fi, electric, etc., included in accommodation? So Dana, Angela, Megan?
Yeah, they are actually in the DME accommodation, as far as I know. If I'm right, Sarah, Nisha, I think you know more than me about it. But yeah, I think they're included always. The DME accommodation website, that's guaranteed.
Well,
Everything's
Megan ain't been paying the bills if they aren't anyway. We'll take that from that. They're not included. So thank you so much for that. Nathan, for your next question, in terms of placement and work experience, if you go onto the lounge or the DMU Open Day homepage, there's an opportunity for you to ask some questions. There'll be representatives from all across the university, and you'll be able to pose that question there, and they'll be able to answer this. This live stream is specifically focusing on accommodation. So moving on, so we've got Ben. So with regards to the cost of living within DMU, what type of range per week can we expect at uni? I believe this might be in relation to how much can we expect to see the cost for accommodation. So anyone, please feel free.
I'm happy to have a go, and then you can have a go after me, Dana. I think taking apart what you paid for your accommodation, it really depends. It's not a really expensive city. It's not London. With 80, £100 a week, you'd be perfect. But I know some people that live with 50 a week. Some people that live with less than that because they never go out to pubs and they just spend their money on food. We have Lidl and Tesco, really big supermarkets, and they're cheap, they're good for students to shop. So definitely, it's not really high budget, but it depends on your lifestyle.
Yeah, I agree with Angela. Like, it would never go above £100 per week because Leicester's a really affordable place to live in. Like what Angela said, there's Lidl and Aldi where you can get your groceries for such a low price. And yeah, it depends on how much you want to go out and spend money on drinks. So to be honest, it will fluctuate week by week, especially during freshers when you would want to be going out more. So it would be higher, your typical cost of living. But after freshers, you know, I managed to go £20 per week while I was at uni last year. So yeah.
Need to get budgeting tips off you, Dana. Thank you so much for that. So Shabs is asking, so the first part of this question we've already answered, so we can be very brief on this. So is the laundry room included in the accommodation? And also, would we have to bring our own ironing equipment, or would that be available to us? So who wants to have a go at that one?
At Liberty Park, you're provided with an ironing board and an iron, but that's to be shared between the whole flat.
Cool. Anything else from anyone else?
Yeah, I think that tends to be the case. Most places provide like an ironing board and an iron, and you then share that with your flatmates.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Shabs. I hope that's answered your question. So Charlotte, which accommodation is closest to the English lecture halls? So quick trivial question there for you, Sarah/Nisha. Quickly work out the map of DMU.
I'm just doing like a little like thing in my head of probably Newark Point. I think
so. I think you'll be absolutely fine with one of the on-campus halls, such as Newark Point, Grange, even Artworks, sort of edge of campus. So you'll be absolutely fine. There is a useful map which shows all of the halls in relation to all of the campus buildings. So you could probably work it out from just having a very quick glance at that, if you know which building is going to sort of have most of your lectures and so on.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, both. I'm just going to quickly whiz down this list to see if I can pull out any more. So Abby's asking, I'm doing a foundation course and will be allocated to either Bede Hall or Filbert Village. Would we get the choice to choose which one we go to? So Sarah, Nisha?
Yes, so you'll be able to book your accommodation online, and you have the options for Bede and Filbert. Bede Hall has a shared bathroom, Filbert Village is en suite. So if you have a particular preference for one of those, you just go online and book your preferred hall.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So Luke, similar questions to the one we had about English lectures. So again, testing your knowledge of the DMU campus here, guys. So what accommodation would be closest for business lectures?
I think it would be Glassworks.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. But that's
the thing. If you live in York Point, you are like maybe like 10 seconds further.
You literally just need to cross that main road, and that's it.
You also have what's the new name for Liberty Court Annex? They've changed the name now. Rose House is basically in front of Hugh Aston's. Well, I was living there first year, and it's just like I will leave my house 3 minutes before my lecture. So
yeah.
As long as you was getting there on time, that's the main thing, isn't it? So Kate's asking, so are the live videos recorded and available afterwards? We missed the start of the accommodation one. With the live streams, I believe you can replay them. So if there is an issue for with replaying the live stream, Kate, go on to the DMU Digital Open Day landing page. You'll find a little chat icon. Please do post your questions there. If you cannot get access to the start of this live stream, or if you do have any specific questions about accommodation, we will have a bit of time at the end of this live stream session. So if there's anything that you do want to ask, please do feel free, drop us a comment, and we will try and get to you either by bringing your question on screen, or we will reply to you in the comments, depending on how much time we have left. So just the last couple of ones before we head over to our accommodation tour. So Megan, we will cross over to you in a second. Please just do bear with us. So Holly's asking, how busy are the accommodations? Can you choose to be in accommodation with less people? She sounds like someone like myself, not very sociable. Like to have my own space. What are we saying about this, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but like because of the way the booking system is, you can sort of see kind of how many people are in flats, and then on the main web pages you can see how many people are in like total in those halls potentially. So you can kind of gauge how many people are going to be there, and you know, decide if you want one that's a bit smaller with less people in a flat or whatever.
Okay, the second part from Holly's question is that she also wants to study education studies. So is there an accommodation site close to where education studies is? Is there anything that we can recommend?
Oh, you know what? I'm not sure where education studies is actually would be located. So if I did know that, I might be able to. But it's all like with the other ones, it's all, you know, so close to campus that it's kind of, it's a matter of minutes in terms of the difference that it makes to walk to the different halls.
Excellent. So
exactly, the campus is all in one place, so it will take you maximum 5 minutes to go from one point to the other. That's why we always have around like 7 minutes in between class and class, because there's you can go everywhere walking really quick. So it's not really important as in other universities in England would be, because DMU is really close.
excellent. So Shabs has asked a very good question. So are there any accommodations that are en suite and can include a private kitchen area and bathroom? So can we get the en suites and the private kitchen and bathroom?
So
Not all at once, guys.
So that would be studio type accommodation. We do have a few studios, not many. The vast majority of our accommodation is shared. So you mostly get a ensuite room within a shared flat. So you're sharing the kitchen areas and any communal areas. And that's the vast majority of our accommodation that's bookable through us. We do have some halls that offer the odd studio. So you could always book one of those. Places such as Newark Point or Applegate Place. Also, some of our halls would allow direct booking, and you might be able to book a studio directly with them. And there's also options available through Sulets, and they have a large range of studio options. So these are all things to think about.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Nisha. Shabs, I hope that's answered your question. Last couple of ones, and we will pass over to Megan. I appreciate you've probably been standing there for about 33 minutes, 10 seconds. So if you were anything like me, my legs will be aching. So we will get you moving very shortly. So Kirsty's asking, are you able to have friends and family to stay overnight that don't attend DMU?
No. Well, especially not at the moment. Obviously, at the moment we're kind of limited on visitors and things because of everything that's going on. But in general, normally we don't allow people to stay sort of overnight in the halls, you know, for the security and safety of everyone else in the flats and everything.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Ben's asking, it's the last question. So thank you for all the help so far. I was also wondering whether it's possible in the first year to try and get placed with someone else from your subject.
Yeah, so that's similar to the kind of the couples question, really. So it's a case of going online and finding a flat, rooms in the same flat or whatever, again, depending on availability. So you just choose ones that are near each other.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. So that's all the questions for now, guys. So you're off the hook for around 10-15 minutes whilst Megan takes us on a little tour. So Megan, where are you taking us?
I'm just going to take you around one of the flats at Liberty Park. Let me just turn my camera around. Okay. Ooh, how do I turn it around?
Experiencing some tech difficulties, just please bear with us.
I don't know if I can turn it around.
Are you using
A phone?
You might just need to.
Okay, we'll do it like this. So this is the hallway that you typically come into, where all the bedrooms and the kitchens are. I'm going to take you into the kitchen. So over here we have a little seated area, and then we also have like a bar table. You've got your oven, and then every flat comes with a toaster, kettle, iron, an ironing board, and then you've got your oven, lots of cupboard space, so there's no need to fight over that. Fridge, and then you've got good view. And we've also got some cleaning stuff so you can keep on top of that. I'll just take you through to one of the bedrooms. Okay, so this bedroom is en suite. So we've got a wardrobe, plenty of space. I'll just show you. Sorry, I can't see what I'm showing you, so.
We can see the desk, and we can also see the bed.
Okay, so you've got a 3/4 size bed, and then another desk area over here with some shelves. And then we've got an ensuite. So just turn the light on. So yes, it's like a wet room ensuite. So you've got your shower in there and your toilet and sink. Okay, if there's any questions, just ask me. So, okay, so now I'll take you down to some of the common areas, unless there's any questions about the flat itself.
There's no questions as of yet, Megan, so you're okay to carry on.
So we'll just go down to some of the common areas. So we'll go down to the podium, and we've got the common room to show you, the laundry room, and there's also a gym here, which is free for all the students to use. So this is the gym where all the flats and blocks are. It's nice out here when it's warm.
Don't envy you at the moment.
Oh. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, it's a bit distorted, but I feel like... Hello? Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, it might just be because I'm outside. So we've got some more stairs to go down. There are lifts as well. So I'll take you into the laundry room first. Okay. So this is the laundry room, and when you first come to use the laundry room, you can buy a card from here, and so you buy the card for £2, and then you can top it up, and you top it up online. When you come to do your washing, you'd put your card in, and then the amount's £3.10, and then your wash load will go on. And then over the other side, we have dryers. So there's plenty to use, so there's not a fight for them. And then we also have a TV in here, which is turned on. Yeah, any questions about the laundry room?
Well, we've got some questions now, so if you just want to stop for a couple of minutes. So Emma's asking, how many people are in the flat that you're currently showing?
So there's 6 rooms in that flat.
Okay.
So that's one of the biggest flats there is. So there wouldn't be more than 6 people occupying a flat.
Excellent. The next question is, it's already been answered in the comments, but what is the name of this accommodation complex?
This is Liberty Park.
We've also got a question from Frankie, who's asking, are you allowed to bring your own bed or mattress?
So each room's already provided with a bed and mattress. That the mattress will stay in there. If you want to bring a mattress topper, that's fine, but the mattress is already in your room.
Excellent. And then the next question is about the rent. how much does it cost to stay in Liberty Park?
I don't think the prices have been released for the next year yet, and it varies depending on what kind of room you get. If I remember correctly, I think it's around 146 per week, but don't quote me on that. I think that's, I don't know, Nisha might know better than me on that one.
Nisha, Sarah, do you guys know the current cost to stay at Liberty Park?
We wouldn't have, like Megan said, the this year's kind of prices. So the best thing to do is probably to keep an eye on the DMU web pages, and once we have those, it'll be released on
Excellent.
there.
Thank you so much for that, Sarah.
The current price for this year is 138 for a premium ensuite room, but like Sarah said, this is subject to change and price increase. So once they release this information, we'll update the accommodation section of the main DMU website, and so you have this information.
Excellent. That was £138 for students that are studying this year. Is that right? Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Nisha. Oliver's asking before you disappear, Megan, to the next part. Do you have to pay for the dryers?
Yes, the dryers are, let me just have a look. They are £1.70.
There you are, Oliver. So it's £1.70 to dry your clothes.
Okay, but they're quite big, so it's not like you have to do it frequently. You can get quite a lot of clothes in there. So now I'll just take you through to the common room. I just need to unlock it. Yeah. There we go. Right, so the common room is currently closed at the moment due to COVID, but hopefully we will be opening it up. So we have lots of seating area. More here, so this is kind of more like you can come and do your work here or see your friends. And then we've got air hockey, fuzzball, pool, and more seating area down there. So yeah, it's just a nice area to come and relax and see your friends. At the moment with COVID, when it does open, I think it would be the type of thing that you're only allowed to mix with your flat in here. And then I've got the gym to show you. So the gym's just down here. It's a long walk. Okay. So this is the gym. So we've got all our cardio stuff over here. Some of the equipment's been moved apart at the moment just so we can maintain social distancing. So more cardio machines, big set of mirrors. So there's plenty of space if you want to do floor work as well. You can just use one of these mats. Plenty of TVs so you can watch them as you're exercising. And then over here we have some weighted machines and a weighted area and some benches so they can be used. And this is free for everyone to use.
Excellent.
Yeah, any more questions?
Not at the moment, no. So guys watching, if you do have any questions, please do ping them in, as Megan will be leaving us soon. So if you have any questions for Megan, please do get them in ASAP, as she will be leaving the live stream within the next 5 minutes or so.
And I'll just show you reception, and then that's all the common areas done.
So whilst you're walking over there, Megan, I don't know if you can still hear me. Oliver is asking, is there much student parking available? I think Megan's signal might have dropped out. So whilst we reconnect with Megan, so does anyone want to pick that question up? So is there much student parking available?
There's a limited amount of student parking. So what I would suggest is, looking into it, speaking to the halls, because there's usually a charge for the spaces as well, checking the hall pages for more information, and having a think about whether you really need to bring a car to university, because the campus and city centre are so close together and there are good transport links that actually it might not be worth it, and it might be more kind of hassle than it's worth, what with the whole not having that many spaces thing.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Sarah. So Oliver and Jemima, I hope that's answered your question on student parking. Megan, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yep, so this is the post boxes for all the flats, so that's where any letters will go. But if you get a parcel, they'll come to reception. I'll just take you through to reception now. Just unlock it. Okay, so this is reception, so you can come down here if you've got any questions or problems, or you just generally want to talk to us about anything. All your parcels will be delivered here, and you'll get a notification through our app to say that they're here, and then you can just come down and get them. Yeah, that's it, I think. Yeah.
Is there anything else on the tour?
No, that's it.
So thank you so much for that, Megan. I'm sure our viewers, we've had thank yous come in the comments anyway, so they've really appreciated you taking the time out to take us around that accommodation of Liberty Park. So Megan, I believe you're leaving us now.
Yeah.
So
thank you ever so much.
Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So Megan's gone. So that was very useful. So back on with the stream. One last section that we want to cover before taking any final questions. So guys, if you do have any final questions, please do get them in. We will now be answering those at the end of the live stream. So if you're just joining us, you've missed the start of the live stream. The live streams will be available to replay until Monday, I have been told, and it has been mentioned in the comments. Please do keep the comments coming in, keep the questions coming in, and we'll answer those as best as we can at the end of the live stream. So the last section that I want to move on to is the students' experience. So this is really now down to our two students. So we've got Dana, we've also got Angela. So could you tell us how you found staying in DMU halls? So Dana, Angela, please, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, during my first year, I wanted to go into accommodation just to get the full whole uni experience. So for my first year, I went to St. Martin's House, and that's one of the smaller accommodation buildings. And yeah, it was a really great experience. The staff were lovely. Security was really well. It's 24-hour security as well for across all of the halls at DMU. And the location of my accommodation was really convenient as well, because it was near Tesco Express and it was also near town. It's literally just a few minutes walk. And whenever I want to commute back home, it would just be a 50-minute walk from the train station. So that was really convenient. And as I said before earlier in the live stream, it's really close to campus. It's just a 5-10 minute walk. So being in a hurry going to lectures was no problem. I can just speed walk going into campus. So yeah, I really liked my accommodation my first year.
Excellent. What about yourself, Angela?
Yeah, well, I wasn't really Court, but I'm aware that they've changed the name. So I wanted just Sarah or Nisha just to say the actual name. So
Castle Courts, it's changed to.
Castle Court. Okay, I had a really good experience because it's so close to, like, it's basically in campus. I'm like any accommodation almost. Like there's like half of the accommodations are just so close to the campus. So it was so great. They had security 24/7 CCTV, and it was really secured because to go through each door you had to put your fob. So I felt really secure, and there was always someone in the security office 24/7. So if something happens to you, like I knew that I could always go there and ask for help because I was a member of that accommodation. So that was so nice, and they were really helpful with me, and I feel really safe. Yeah, I was in accommodation that was quite small. We were me and 4 other flatmates with 2 shared toilets and a shared kitchen, and it was a really good experience. I thought it was going to be much more complicated to not have an ensuite toilet, but it turned out really good. You just, you have a list with a task that each one should do. You organize within the flat, and it was a really good experience. It was great to be so close to campus.
Excellent.
No excuses for being late.
Talking about the location and how close we are, a lot of the questions that we had in the chat was orientated around parking. So a lot of students at the moment currently drive. Presumably they're thinking about bringing their car over to university. What is Leicester like just in general? So Sarah alluded to it earlier in terms of we've got great transport links in the city. What's your guys' opinion or viewpoints on bringing a car? Would you say it's worth it? Would you say not really? Especially with regards to how Leicester is. So
Bringing a car, I feel like I don't think. I mean, you can if you want to, but it'll be more expensive because you have to pay for parking, a parking space at your accommodation. For me, I didn't really need to use a car because for one reason is everything's walking distance, and you find that walking somewhere would be quicker than actually driving to the place. But I know some students who did bring a car because they just commute very like on a daily basis. I don't know why, but they just did. And normally they would just get a parking place at one of the bigger parking places, not at the accommodation itself, because it would just turn out cheaper.
Yeah, Castle Court actually has parking inside. I don't know if they still have it, but when I was there, there's not a lot, but not many people has a car. And personally, I've never taken a bus in Leicester in my 3 years of uni. I've taken buses to other cities, to London or to Nottingham or Birmingham. I've never taken a bus to go somewhere around Leicester because this is in the city center. Campus is in the city center. Like you just don't need it unless you have some really specific reason that you're gonna go to ODB or something like that. But you definitely don't need a car unless it's for some specific reason. But in general, no one needs a car here.
Absolutely. What would you say about the facilities, guys? What would you say about the facilities that you guys used, your experience of the facilities, having stayed in accommodation at DMU?
You want to go for it, Dana?
You can go for it, Angela.
I will say the facilities are great in all the aspects. I think the accommodations that have common rooms, they're amazing. Like the common rooms are amazing, like in Glassworks or in Liberty Park, as we've been shown. They're amazing, really modern, really big. You can be there with your friends, and I had great times in those accommodations. And then in my accommodation, it's really, really good. Like all the furniture was in perfect state. Like if something was a little bit old or a bit broken, they would replace it. Like I haven't heard of any of my friends having any problems with some broken or old furniture. So it's really, really good. And yeah, in my opinion, everything was great. Personally, in Rose House now, we had a cleaner to clean our bathroom like once every 10 days. So everything was even more sparkling. So it was really good, really modern, really good.
And Dana?
Yeah, I agree. The facilities, I think it's the same across all halls. Like You'll have a laundry room. You'll have maintenance service as well. For my accommodation, if there was like something that wasn't working in your halls, you would do it via the app, and they'll get to you really quickly. For example, like our heater wasn't working for like no reason last year, so me and my flatmates got an inquiry to the maintenance team saying that it wasn't working, and it was done within a week, so that was really convenient. And another thing, if you do want to bring a bike, I think all halls have bike storage somewhere, and yeah, it's all inclusive. For my one, it was all inclusive. So electricity, water, Wi-Fi, it was all included in the price that you pay.
Yes, same with me.
So I'm just going to answer some of the questions that have come in through the comments, and then we do have some just general questions that we want to cover, and then we will be bringing the stream to a close. So guys, if you do have any last minute questions, now's your opportunity to drop them in. So Ava's asking, when do I book my accommodation? So Sarah, Nisha.
So the booking system usually opens in March. So as long as you've made DMU your firm choice, you're eligible to book. Once it opens, you'll be sent an email inviting you to book. It will have your username, your password, and a link to the system. Just go on and book a room in the hall of your
Excellent.
choice.
So Eva, I hope that's answered your question. So Paul's asking which accommodation would be best for performing arts students. So again, it's one of those questions around where performing arts will be. Is there a hall that's located by, or accommodation that's located close by?
I think Newark Point, the Grange, or even the Glassworks, they're all the most sort of centrally located, perhaps the most convenient for you. But also have a look at the campus map on the main DMU website, accommodation section, homepage, and it will show you where each of the halls are in relation to your particular building.
Excellent. So Paul, hopefully that's answered your question. So Oliver's asking, what is it like living in Leicester? I feel like I'm the only one that's not qualified to answer this question based on my accent. So
I will say it's really easy, you know, because it's a small to a point where you don't need to take buses and you don't, you know, but it's not. Sorry, it's not too small and it's not too big, you know, it's the perfect size. You go out and you might meet some friends, but you also have your own space to go for walks wherever you want. You don't need to take buses often at all, but you have everything you need in the city center. And you're just really close to everywhere. Like the supermarkets are really close to all the accommodations. You have so many different options to where to buy food, where to go out, but it's kind of nice that it's like a safe place because there's like 10-15 minutes walk to everywhere you want to go. So that personally made me feel really at home and really safe, like taking in account that I was coming from a different country. So it wasn't really overwhelming. Yeah, it was really good. I love it.
and Dana?
Yeah, I love living in Leicester because one of the main reasons why I decided to study in Leicester is how multicultural it is. So my whole first year experience was amazing. I got to meet loads of different new people, like international people as well. I also got to meet even more people through my job as a student ambassador. And another plus side to living in Leicester is the amount of restaurants there are. Like there's a huge variety of different type of foods that you can get. So, you know, every week me and my flatmates will be trying something new. So food is definitely a bonus when it comes to living in Leicester. And yeah, transport is so easy. Everything is in walking distance. So there's literally no worries with commuting and getting to places. Nightlife is good as well. So yeah, there's a variety of clubs. So hopefully once COVID passes, you know, next year, first year, students will be able to experience the whole proper fresher experience.
Yeah, and there's so many discounts for students everywhere you go because it's really a student city. As the DMU campus is in a city center, everything is sort of moves around that. So it's just a really great city to be a student in. You got discounts, you go pub crawls all the time. There's always things going on. I think it's perfect for students.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, both. So we've got Natalie asking, what happens in the advent of a fire? So this is probably more aimed towards Sarah/Nisha.
So each of the halls will have their own kind of like fire policies and everything, and they do usually do like a drill at the beginning of term and things, but generally it'll be kind of the same as if you're in any building. The fire alarm will go off and you'll need to evacuate, and the staff will be there to act as wardens to show you where to go and everything.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. So Eva, we've replied to you in the chat, and the message that we're really saying is that once you make us your firm choice, details of how to book will be emailed to you. And to give you a rough frame time, I believe Nisha said it was March, so around March time, please do keep an eye out for that. So Danny's asking, does the university have security guards on site? Anyone?
So this kind of depends on the accommodation itself, but most places will have security of some sort. So they'll either have CCTV, or they'll have security guards that work in the evenings but are contactable kind of should they be needed. So I mean, for our own DMU halls, so that's New Wharf and Bede and Waterway, we have like our main security team who can come down if something happens, and then at night they have the building attendants who are around and who do patrols and things, and in the daytime they have the staff. But it is kind of different between halls. So, you know, if you're particularly concerned, it might be a case of contacting the halls directly and kind of speaking to them to find out what their specific arrangements are, and all their contact details can be found on the DMU web pages with the rest of the sort of hall information.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. So, George, your question has been answered in the comments. If you just scroll down, you'll see that we have responded to you in the comments to your question. Shab, sorry, I missed your question about e-scooters. So again, we have answered that one in the comments as well. We don't work for Leicester City Council, I'm afraid, so we're not too sure on what the policy and the procedure is, and nor would we want to comment or advise on such. So my advice would be, please do get in touch with Leicester City Council to find an answer to your question. So we've got Angal or Angel, again, apologies if I've said it wrong, asking, as a fashion student, I would need lots of inspiration. Is there any museums in Leicester? Is the question that is being asked here for inspiration for our fashion students?
There is a lot of pop-up things, and there is art galleries. There are art galleries in places like LCV The Pot, where you can arrange a call with a meeting with them, and then you can like present your art there, and people can buy it. You can do events there. You can hire venues for events. It's a small city, but it has a lot going on. The fashion students are doing amazing things, and just because the faculty itself is so inspiring, the BJ Patel, I feel like they're not lacking inspiration by being in Leicester, and they always usually go to other places to buy materials. Like they seem to be having a really good time. They don't seem to be lacking any inspiration, but you know, depends on what inspires you. But I think it's a good place.
Anywhere else, guys?
Sorry.
Anywhere else?
Yeah, there's a really nice museum that was near my accommodation. It was called Newark Museum, and it's literally a 10-minute walk from St. Martin's House. And me and my flatmates checked it out, and it's for free as well. So that's a big bonus for students. And there's some really nice art galleries in that museum.
There's also the Richard III Centre, that's very close by and it's worth checking out. Jewellery Wall Museum, again back to the city's Roman heritage. Always worth having a look. But there are also events that take place throughout the year in the city, scheduled events, things like the sort of traditional Christmas lights. We also have a Diwali festival. This year we're limited due to obviously COVID, so we don't have as much as we'd usually have. But hopefully in years to come, they'll be able to pick that up again and have a lot more to inspire you.
Excellent. So, Angel, slash, I hope you're feeling inspired. The fact that you can come along and get some inspiration at various museums that we have dotted around Leicester. So, I'm just going to carry on going through this list. So, we've got Kaylee, I believe that's how you say it. Again, apologies. I've been looking at code student accommodation for 2021. When can you apply for accommodation?
So code accommodation isn't actually one of the ones that you can book through us. So that would be one that you would book kind of privately. But as Nisha said before, you can apply for accommodation with us from around March time, although the date hasn't been set yet.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. So we've got Tuscany 21. Are there any mature students aged around 40 who use the accommodation? So who wants to share their experiences on that?
Maybe Sarah and Nisha know more, because I met once a person that was like more than 50 probably, but they probably know more.
Yeah, I would say it's rarer. It's a lot rarer to have mature students in halls. It does tend to be people who are younger, just turning 18 and the like. But I don't know, Nisha, like you've worked with the team a little bit longer than I have, so I mean, you might have seen over time.
One thing I will mention is obviously mature students welcome to book just as everyone else, but just to bear in mind that once you book in through DMU accommodation, if you book into a shared flat, you will be with undergraduate students, so sort of aged sort of 18 onwards. So you'll be subject to all the student experience that you would usually anticipate that goes with that. So if you're fine with that and happy to still proceed, then by all means. There are also other options available, such as studio bookings or even shared housing. Say if you prefer something quieter, you might not. You might want to go into halls and have the full student experience. So it'll be entirely.
Thank you for that, Nisha. So we've got Zakaya asking, would you say accommodation is something that students should at least try? Do you enjoy living at university? So we'll go to our current students for the answer to this question. So what do you guys believe?
I feel like accommodation, it really is your choice, regardless if you stay at halls or not. Going to university, you'll still have the whole uni experience of just meeting new people on your course or meeting new people that are in different faculties. I feel like this whole idea of, oh, you have to go to accommodation to get the whole uni experience. I don't think it's entirely true, because I know a few friends who commute on a daily basis to go to university, and they have just as much fun to the people who stay in halls in Leicester. So it really is up to you whether accommodation fits your needs. But yeah, I feel like I did enjoy living at university because it was just a whole new experience. But it doesn't. I feel like you shouldn't think that accommodation is something that you need to do to get the whole uni experience.
Angela,
Yeah,
you're nodding.
yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Like, if you want to go on accommodation, it's going to be great because you're going to be sharing a flat, but that gives you a lot of skills in life to, share and decision making and problem solving. But the experience in itself is unique, the friends you're going to make, the period of your life you're going through. So don't think that you're missing out on anything, because I have also friends that don't stay in student accommodations and they're having a great life, a great experience, and they're not lacking any social experiences. So
Excellent. Thank you so much for that question. So the next question, again, I'm not going to attempt to say the first part. I'm just going to say Roby, just in case I do make too many errors. This isn't really related to accommodation, but I was wondering how LGBTQ friendly the campus is. So we've responded to you in the comment, so please do have a look at the comment. We are also, so after this, I'm hosting in the lounge. If you do want to pop over to the lounge and ask this question there, we'll be able to discuss this in a bit more detail later on. So thank you for your question. So one of the other questions that we've had, £3 for every use. I feel like this is in reference to the washing machine.
I think so.
Yeah. So is it £3 every use?
It depends on the accommodation. Some of them can be 2.25, some of them can be 3 or 3.50, or some others will be like 2 for the washing machine and then 1.75 for the dryer. But it's really not that much because it's just for yourself. You accumulate a lot of like dirty clothes out of laundry, and it might be like once a week that you need to do it. So it's not that much, but you can always if you're struggling with money, you can always contact DMU with the finance team, and they might be able to help you.
Cool. Sarah, Nisha, anything else to add on that, or are you okay for me to move on? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's covered it.
Cool. Yeah. So we've got Kaylee asking. So I feel like this question appeared earlier on in the stream. So is a place in the halls guaranteed?
We would say like we do have usually plenty of accommodation, but like the guarantees change sort of year for year. Usually it's something around the thing of like if you have a firm offer, you accepted a firm offer by such and such a date, then you're guaranteed accommodation, but it hasn't been set for this year yet. So like again, keep an eye on those DMU accommodation web pages for those dates. But generally speaking, yes, you likelihood is if you're kind of accepting earlier on, then yeah, you'll be able to get accommodation.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. So Abby's asking, when you move into accommodation, would you say it's easy to start talking to other flatmates? So Dana, Angela, what do you reckon?
I feel like it depends on how extroverted you are as a person. But it was nerve-wracking for me for sure because it's a whole new setting, and you're just meeting new people. You're living with people that you have never met before. So when I think I remember going to my accommodation, there was already someone there that moved in. And thank goodness the person who moved in was really talkative because I would never be able to gain the courage to talk to her. But I think once you realize that you're all in the same setting, all in the same environment, it's easier to connect with the people who are there because it's everyone's first experience at living accommodation. So I think you shouldn't be too worried about the experiences that you might think that, oh, I don't think they want to talk to me, because that's not true. I think everyone would be nervous talking to people that they've never met.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone is different, so you might meet someone in your friendship stays in where flatmates, we help each other, we do shopping together, and we cook together. And maybe you can be living with someone that's so similar to you that you end up being like a super good group of friends, and that end up being your whole university group of friends. So it depends on the people that live with you, depends on who you are. But in general, people is respectful, normal, and nice, and we all want to get along. So yeah, shouldn't worry about it.
Quite daunting, isn't it? Especially if you're coming from a different area of the country. If you're coming on your own, you don't know anyone. You could be your first time living away from home. So you've got all of these factors to deal with. So you can understand the concern with that question. But thank you so much for that, Dana and Angela, for answering that. Shabs, we've posted the link for our Applying to 2021 Facebook group. So the question that Shabs asked was, are there any social groups to join? So for the students who are joining us in September 2021, and you can find the link here. So guys, please do join the Facebook page, because we'll be sharing a lot of information to help you transition from your current education into university and just wider university life. So thank you for your question, Shabs. George is asking, what is the best way to pick your hall choice? Interesting question. So what would we say the best way is?
Going back to something Sarah referred to, it would be just make a list of all the things that are important to you, such as budget, location, and so on, whether it's a big hall, whether you want to be surrounded with lots of people or you prefer fewer people. And these are all things that can help you reach a decision about which hall to book. I would recommend that you have a look at the accommodation pages on the main DMU website. It tells you a bit about each of the halls, and that will hopefully help you to decide.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
Yeah, completely. You just need to think on what's the best for you, because for some people, the best option can be something completely different for you. If you want a studio, you want to be close to campus, maybe Newark Point is the best option. But if you want a really big flat living with a lot of people, maybe Beat Hall is better because they have 10 people's flat. So, it depends on what you like, but there's all the information in the DME accommodation website. So all you need to know, you can spend a whole day looking through every hole and the characteristics of each one. So whatever
Excellent.
works for you.
Thank you for that, Angela. So Owen, so this question did feature earlier on, so Owen's probably just joined. Can mature students use halls?
Yes, they can, of course, but it's just worth bearing in mind that you will be with majority students who are kind of younger. So, and therefore, there might be a clash there of, if you're a mature student, you want to sort of settle down and study, you might be living with, students who are a bit more party orientated.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. So that seems like we've got through all of the questions that have come in from YouTube. Just some common questions that are asked. I'm just going to cover some. I'm only going to cover one or two, and then we're going to bring the live stream to an end. So one of the questions that I want to bring up is, should I insure my belongings whilst at university? So what would we say would be the general advice to this question?
Most of the halls actually have some level of insurance included in with the payment anyway. So you're kind of your basic sort of things. But if you're thinking of bringing anything more expensive, sort of technical stuff, or things that might cost a bit more, then you might want to look into sorting your own insurance out.
Excellent.
Yeah, and most of the shared halls have key, because mine did have a key on each room. All of the halls have key, and you can lock the door from the outside if that gives you more peace of mind. Personally, mine was always open, but some people prefer to keep their space. So.
Excellent. Thank you both for that. And one last question from here. So can you change your accommodation if you don't like it? So Nisha, Sarah, too much ag for you guys to change afterwards?
Once you obviously agree to your tenancy agreement, that's a legally binding contract. You wouldn't sort of be able to change. But what we would do is sort of have a look at as to why you don't like it, look at obviously the issues that are impacting you, try and help you to resolve those. It might be that you perhaps just want a room move within the hall, and we would just sort of go through your situations with you, go through all the options that are available, and try and help you and support you as much as we can, and take it from there, really.
Absolutely. Sarah, anything else from you on that?
Yeah, I think that kind of covers it, that we would try to sort of support you through looking at the reasons maybe why you wanted to move your room first before kind of taking that step. But we will try and see what options are available.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So final couple of questions from YouTube, and that's it. We're going to pull it to a close. So very briefly, I know this was already covered earlier on, but what are the transport links like?
Pretty decent, obviously, because we're in the Midlands. We've got good connections to a lot of places. So you've got your bus station with your local buses and kind of more the bigger coaches like National Express, that kind of thing. And then we've got the train station as well. And also, we're not that far away from East Midlands Airport. There's a bus that goes from the bus station to East Midlands Airport as well. So, you know, we've got a lot of different forms of transport, kind of all quite accessible from the city centre.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for that, Sarah. So Jesse, I hope that's answered your question. Natalie, we've posted the answer to your question in the comments. So Natalie asked, do you get a safe in your room? The answer to that question, you don't get a safe provided, but you can pick some up from around £19 onwards if you want to bring one with you. But as Angela was saying, the halls are fairly secure. So what we're going to do now, so if there's any last minute questions, please do get them in, because I'm about to finish the live stream. So we just want to say a massive thank you for all of you that have joined, for all the questions that you guys have asked. It's been quite insightful for us. So hopefully we've been able to provide you with the details required in regards to you guys making your transition over to De Montfort University, and hopefully selecting one of the arrays of accommodation that we have on offer. So from me, myself, as a host, I just want to say thank you for joining, and we do hope that you carry on interacting with us throughout the rest of the day. So we still have the lounge, that is still ongoing, so you can drop in and out of there throughout the whole day, where we'll be discussing various topics. There's a lot of speakers that are coming in and out talking about their different areas. We have the chat facility, so you can also ask any questions that you possibly didn't get the chance to ask on today's stream, or if it wasn't relevant towards this stream, you do have the opportunity to do that, and that's up until 3:30. At the bottom of our open day page, you will also see the schedule for the afternoon. So we have live streams running all the way up until 3:30, and we do strongly advise you to get involved, for you guys to help you guys make the decision in regards to what university, what course you're going to choose. Hopefully will be De Montfort University, and we are all looking forward to seeing you soon. So again, thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you.